Hello there. Today we're looking at the Galoob 6-inch A-Team figures. As you can see, I now have managed to obtain a complete set of 4 figures. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exactly 4 figures. So what I'm aiming to do today in this video is to talk about why I've collected these 4 or 5 figures, the pluses, minuses of each figure, and to have a look at the range as a whole and see if they actually deserve the bad reputation that they've picked up. We will also be looking at some of the groovy variants that Galoob made. Then finally, I'd like to talk about some of the other figures that were available and some of the playsets and vehicles that came with this range. So strap in tight as we join the A-Team.
Congratulations, kid. You just hired the A-Team.
Now, these figures were available from 1983 to 1987, although I haven't found a definitive end date for the production. But I do know that the show finished in 1987, so I guess it will be kind of logical to finish the toy line at that time, because that's when the TV show was ending. Now, if you know any better, please let me know in the comments, because I can't find anything online. Now, I have these in my collection because I used to have them when I was a kid, but back in 2010 I sold off a whole load of my collection, and yeah, these guys were sacrificed in the Great Purge of 2010. To learn more about that, you can check out the video that I did on the Great Purge. I'll leave a link to it in the description. So each figure came with a belt. We'll use Hannibal as a let's take his M60 off his back. We'll use Hannibal as a test rabbit. So as you can see, they all came with a belt. They have a lovely side pistol. I'm not sure what would go in there. It does look like handcuff clip, and a drink bottle for when they got thirsty whilst on a mission. They all came with backpacks. So again, I'll turn him around. You can see he's got this lovely backpack. Each backpack was different, apart from BA, who had a lovely toolbox. BA also had a different belt. He had a tool belt instead of what the other guys got. I guess because he was special. Now, they all came with an M16, which is great, but it is the wrong gun, because in the TV show they used the iconic stainless steel Ruger Mini 14s like this one. So yeah, but at least they came with a weapon, I suppose. They would all came also with secondary weapons. So Hannibal came with the M60. Well, I say all, 2 of them came with secondary weapons, Faceman and Hannibal. Poor Murdoch, he didn't come with a secondary weapon, and nor did BA. Now, they have a bad reputation for being cheaply made. Their face sculpts are sometimes a little bit comical, and they all have squidgy heads, and they all have what I call disco legs. Very shaky, and they're very difficult to stand sometimes. But if you want to sit them down, because of the way their legs and hips are made, they have this sort of comical spread leg thing going on. They have hands that don't really hold their weapons. So if we see if we can hold it in his left hand. No, he can't. Can he hold it in his right hand? Each one has a hole between the forefinger and thumb, and with a bit of pushing in, now there you go. This one can hold his rifle. Oh, whoa, floppy legs. But he can't hold this, but we'll cover that when we look at Hannibal in closer detail. Now, despite these glaringly terrible points of bad head sculpts and wobbly legs and not being able to hold their accessories, I think they are an absolutely essential thing to have in any 80s collection because, as I said, it's the A-Team. The A-Team is one of the most iconic 80s TV shows ever made. Yes, there was Knight Rider. Yes, there was Airwolf. Yes, there was Magnum PI. But the A-Team, I think, is the pinnacle of 80s TV. And these were the toys that went with it. These are as iconic, I think, as the TV show ever was. So that's why I have them in my collection. And I think that's why if you have an 80s collection, you should also have them. Right, okay. Let's begin at looking at these guys one by one very quickly. I guess we should start with Hannibal because he was the leader of the team. But there was one character that I feel, and maybe others feel also, that was the most iconic of characters from the TV show. And that was, of course, the Face Man.
Read the printout on us. We were a combat team in Nam. We're weapons and tactics experts. We enjoy a challenge.
So this is the Face Man, or Face for short, or Templeton Arthur Peck for long. Iconically played by Dirk Benedict in the TV show. And in the pilot episode, he was played by Tim Doonigan, or Dunnigan. Depends on how you pronounce the name, really, doesn't it? Unfortunately, Tim was sacked after the pilot episode for not being Dirk Benedict.
Leave on a big old howdy.
So, this figure, head sculpt, how does that compare to Dirk Benedict? What do we think? Let me know in the comments. He comes with the M16, but he can't hold it because his little grip hole is too small. So, but he can hold it a bit like this. Ta-da! It's not fantastic, is it? Really? Let go. He also came with an Uzi, that iconic submachine gun of the 1980s. But he also can't hold that. Well, let's. Ta-da! Yeah, it's not great, but I do kind of just tuck it in here for display purposes. It does tuck in nicely on his backpack. Talking of his backpack, it's this, an iconic 1980s iPhone. Now, they gave him this field telephone, but I don't know who he was calling because none of the other guys have got field telephones. So it's a bit pointless, isn't it? But there you go. Now, this is the normal version with the black coat, the orange shirt, the blue trousers. There is an episode, it's one or two episodes, I believe, where the character actually has this same outfit, which is pretty cool that they made a toy in the same in the right colors. Now his variant comes with an orange coat, yellow shirt, and dark grey trousers, which I guess is nice, but I don't need that in my collection really, unless I find one going for a very good price. The variants are extremely expensive, and I don't really have room in my collection for them. So anyway, there you go. There is Templeton Peck, the Face Man.
I'm Hannibal Smith. I understand you want to hire the A-Team.
And so we have here Colonel John Hannibal Smith.
He's a colonel.
Leader of the A-Team. What do you think? Does he look like George Peppards? Let me know in the comments. So he has, as we saw, M16, disco legs, Disco legs, disco legs. And an M60 that he can't hold properly. See if he can do a ta-da! Look at my gun. I actually thought it was weird that he had the M60, such a big, heavy machine gun. I always thought it should be with BA, but actually in the TV show, there was a variant of Hannibal also, and he came with a blue coat, a white shirt, and dark grey trousers. But I prefer this version of him, to be fair. These white trainers. I mean, really, I don't think Hannibal had a particular set of clothing, but this one's pretty cool, I think. Although that blue coated version, and to have the blue coat was pretty cool. Maybe if I see one around, I'll buy it.
Okay, Murdoch, you're on.
And this is obviously Captain H.M. Howling Mad Murdoch, played by Dwight Schwartz in the TV show. Yes, the absolute crazy guy was second in command and a captain, and this guy has got very loose legs. Going down. Very loose disco legs there. But hey ho, there you go. Face sculpt. Does it look like Dwight Schwartz? Squidgy head. He has his M16 and a backpack for mountaineering. He also came with binoculars, which unfortunately I don't have, and a rope with a grappling hook. And I'm also missing the belt for this guy. But they're all things I can look for. Maybe one day I'll find them, which would be cool, wouldn't it? So, there was also a variant of this guy where he had a yellow coat, an orange shirt, and brown trousers, which I think is a shame because this really is what Murdoch looked like in the show. It's just a shame that on his back, he doesn't have anything on his back, but in the show he had the emblem of his flying. I don't know what it was. It was tiger, wasn't it? If I remember rightly. I'll find a picture of it. I'll put it on the screen now. If not, you're just seeing this. Right. So there you go. Howling Mad Murdoch. Got my eye on you.
Just going to make it, Doctor.
How you ever gonna make it on the outside world if you keep making a fool out yourself?
I'm thinking about a career in medicine.
Only thing you should be doing, medicine, is using it for your head.
And now the last member of the team, BA, which I always thought stood for bad attitude, but actually stands for Bosco Albert. Played by Mr. T in the TV show, and yes, possibly one of the most iconic characters of the 1980s.
The name is Mr. T. First name is Mr. Middle name is that period. Last name is T. Listen and listen good. I'm talking to you.
Now, that's why I bought this guy, because I wanted to make a 1980s display, and no 1980s display could do without a Mr. T. And this was quite a cheap example because he was in really bad condition when I got him. So there was quite a bit of touching up needed for his gold. And his hair was all gone and his knee was broken. So his leg went out the wrong way. So I had to make a repair on that. But I didn't have any of his accessories. He came with a toolbox with 9 tools. But to get a complete one, then I ended up having... You can buy the tools separately and buy and it's just easier to buy a complete version. So this is my complete version. He's got slightly wobbly legs, but his knees are actually stiff. He doesn't have a complete rifle because I gave his rifle to Murdoch. Now, as I say, he came with, oh, let's have a look. Face sculpt. It's not too bad, really, is it? Considering.
Well, I pity the fool that makes that mistake.
The Galoob A-Team Mr. T. He came with 9 different accessories, all tools, but how many can he hold? Socket set. No. Socket ratchet. Yes. Spanner. No. Hammer. Yes. Drill bits. No. Drill. No. Screwdriver. Only if it's upside down. Hacksaw. No. Wire cutters. No.
See, there's always gonna be some real sad parts in life that's hard to accept.
Now, there were no variants of the BA that I could find, but there was a 12-inch BA Mr. T doll. And yes, I do want one of those. That is something that I wouldn't mind getting into my collection because, as I say, iconic 1980s character.
You know, people get very mean over priceless things, and they'll stop at nothing to get them.
Now, Galoob did make a range of bad guys to go up against the A-Team. I didn't have any of these when I was a kid, so I don't really need any of them now. But maybe if I saw one going cheap, then yeah, sure, I'd probably pick it up. But it's not something I'm going to actively search for. They also made one of the worst ever action figures. They made an Amy Allen figure. Amy Allen was the reporter, played by Melinda Cooley. Very beautiful actress. And the reporter would help the A-Team out in the first 2 series, I believe. But they made this figure of her, which is notorious for being, as I say, one of the worst action figures ever made. I mean, look at that face sculpt. I'm quite surprised that Melinda didn't sue Galoob for doing that to her head. Now, they also made 2 vehicles for this scale of figure. They had the off-road attack quad bike, which looks like a quad bike. It's not very fantastic, and also it's not something I really want to pick up for my collection. They also made the combat attack gyrocopter, which I do remember seeing when I was younger, but I didn't want it then. It just looks so cheap and tacky. It actually looks like it's going to fall to pieces at any moment. But they did make a combat center, which was the big play set for these figures, and that does look really cool. What I'm quite surprised at is that they never made an A-Team van, that iconic GMC van, which is, yeah, think A-Team, think BA, think van. It's why Galoob? Why did you never make one? Okay, I understand it was quite big, but you made a combat center. You made a useless combat attack gyrocopter. You made a useless off-road attack quad bike. If you'd scrapped all 3 of those things and just made the van, every child would have been happy and you would have sold a ton of them.
I love it when a Mark's angry. They don't think straight.
Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, notifications, hit me up in the comments, jump up and down, go and have a cup of coffee with your neighbor. There you go. That's all nice things to do. And if you want to see some more A-Team, why not check out this video where I take a look at my 3 3/4 inch A-Team figures. It's a good one. Thanks again for watching. See you on the next one.
I love it when a plan comes together.